Hello, Ivan. I have a question for Ivan actually. Ivan, even though your team has won the last two matches, conceding goals has been a concern for them. Uh, do you feel it is difficult to face Hyderabad FC, who are coming into this game after scoring 5 against Northeast?
I think I think the last two games we played I think as a team, so it doesn't really concern us about the Hyderabad result against Northeast, but we are well prepared for the game tomorrow. Like we are prepared for every aspect of the game, and we're just looking forward to it tomorrow. It's a big game, and we have to be ready. Everyone has to be 100% and give our best. That's it.
I have two questions for the coach. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Coach, the team is really performing well, and the players are really have started to deliver actually. So, do you think at this very point, Ortiz's suspension will harm the momentum your team has been gaining?
This moment, most for me, the most important detail for me is the team is put focus in tomorrow against Hyderabad. Also, it's very important that 29 players be ready. Of course, exists injuries, exists in this case one red card in the case of Jorge. But I think it's very important to put focus only in the next 90 minutes. The rest of the details, I think it's not so important because it's distraction for the team.
Coach, one more thing. Last match, Devendra really played very well. So, how happy are you with his performance?
My point of view of 100%, I'm not very happy. We can improve a lot. I think it's on details, in transitions, in a positional attack, in the control the space. It's necessary to work more compact in some points of the moment of the game. Also, the game is 90 minutes, and sometimes we have not put attention in tactical details, and it's very important immediately to change these details for the team, for the club, also for the players.
Thank you, coach. All the best for tomorrow.
Thank you. Vinayak, do you have a question? I saw your hand raised.
Yes, I have a question. I have one question for Coach Juan Ferrando. That is, the next game is against Hyderabad FC, a team who loves to have fluidity in their gameplay as well as who loves to hit their opposition during transitions. So, considering the fact that FC Goa have struggled with during transitional, especially transitions during defending, especially, do you think that it will be very much difficult? It will be the most difficult part of the game as far as defending of the transitions done by Hyderabad FC is concerned.
I think it's tomorrow is a difficult game because it exists a good balance in this team about the young players with a very good physical condition and with experienced players. You know, with the center back Juan Ferrando, with Javi, with Ombeche, and also with the balance of the young players. In this case, they have a very good mixed team. In this case, of course, it is necessary to put attention in transitions because sometimes they find the spaces. They know the timing, where is the best moment of the transition in attack, where is the best moment to keep calm and be ready for the positional in attack. It sees a lot of details are very important for us to be controlled because, from my point of view, it's maybe it's the best team in these points. And the plans of the Hyderabad in the 5 games, also in the last season, and I think it's so happy about the level of the football.
Thank you, Coach.
Hi, Coach. Coach, how are you approaching tomorrow's game against Hyderabad? Because they are a team who maintain a rigid kind of defense and they have just conceded some goals in their matches.
Yeah, but I think it's not only FCY. You can watch the games. Yesterday, for example, 3-3. 2 weeks ago, 0-4. Odisha Youngsters put in 45 minutes. we are talking about the goals conceded. I think it's not only FC Goa. I think in this moment, in this league, there are a lot of goals because sometimes exist some mistakes or not, or because the teams are better in positional attack, you know. But I think it's in my point of view, it's necessary to control some details in press. It's very important to control the second actions or the second line in press, because for me this is the most important. Also, of course, exist another problems. It's the set pieces. Sometimes it's difficult for them to control the man-to-men, maybe because there no exist a lot of experienced players in these situations, or also because the set pieces of the opponents are good actions, good strategy, you know. Maybe the last season the corners was sold directly to point of penalty. In this case, no, exist blocks, exist control the attack, the first post, exist. It's very important study a lot of details.
Coach, how do you rate Hyderabad FC?
How do you read?
Hyderabad FC.
How do you view as Hyderabad?
In my point of view, repeat, it's very good team. I think in my point of view is the last season the performance was good, and then in this season they continue in the same line. They improve game by game, and I think it's a good team with the balance of the experience and the young players.
Question to Iban. Iban, coach implemented the 3-man defense strategy since the last 2 matches. So how do you see your role there?
I think everyone in the team, like we didn't have much time to prepare about the system or whatever, but as a player we have to be ready, you know. Like the coach anytime can change the system, he can play a different system with any team, but we just have to be ready as a player. Everyone in the team is very important here. So we have like 29 players, as he said, so everyone is important, and we just have to be ready at any game and any situation. So we just have to be ready and help each other.
Thank you, Iban. Coach, I have a question from Thiman Sarkar, writing for the Hindustan Times. His question is, data shows that throw-ins are being used as an attacking weapon more than ever. Why do you think that is happening? And does FC Goa spend time at training using long throws as an attacking weapon, and also for practicing defending against them?
It's necessary to prepare all details. Of course, repeat, is not in football and also in sports, it's not exist real statistic. You work one set pieces and then you have success in defense, offensive. No. Sometimes depend of the game, depend of the moment, depend of the feelings, depend of the emotional, depend of the exist before the action exists foul on the foul. There are a lot of details. For me, the most important is all the time explain the same. It's minute by minute in the pitch to be confident, and then step by step. If 1, 2, 3, 4 players are confident in the pitch, the rest of the team is the same. And then no exist problems about attack, transition, set pieces. I think it's game is 90 minutes. In 90 minutes, is the team is in different moments with more confidence. Maybe no. Maybe the feelings are good. Maybe the feelings are not good. There are a lot of details. It's not possible to control in 90 minutes. You know. Of course, we put attention and we put a lot of energy in the points we can improve or we can control. But the rest, sometimes it's difficult. It's necessary to help them with substitutions, or maybe to change the plan of the game, or depend of the moment.
Coach, could you add to this saying how important has throw-ins and long throw-ins become in the modern day football?
In my point of view here, because the pitch is not the space of the size of the pitch is so close, and then here is so easy to put throw-ins immediately like a corner. But I don't like so much, because one detail, when you decide to put one throw in, the ball is in the air. When the ball is in the air, it's 50% for the defense team and 50% for the offensive team. For me, I like to in throw-ins keep calm, good positional, take control of the ball. This is, for example, in Premier League 10, 12 years ago exist these details. All the throw-ins were like a corners, you know. But I don't like so much because I prefer control the ball. I prefer the team is big control about with the positional, and also the throw-in sometimes is we'll see what happens, you know.
Thanks, Coach. Marcus?
Coach, I joined the press conference late, so I don't know whether this question was asked before. Coach, you know, in the first 4 matches, you used 4 different set of foreign players. Only in the last match, you used the same foreign players who played the previous match. Like against Bangalore FC, you used the same 4 foreign players that played against East Bengal, which was not the case in the first 3 matches. Now with Ortiz missing out on the next match, you'll again have to change your 4 foreign players who you start with. So how difficult is it this season to find the right balance between the 4 foreign players that you choose?
In my case, in my team, the problem was, you know, it's the first time Fox was injury, Iram was injury also, and it was easy for us to choose the foreign players. Then step by step, Fox is better. Now he can participate in the team, he can play. And in case of Iram, now is the last 2 weeks he start to training. Of course, the last game against Bengaluru, Iram was difficult to participate in the team because after the red cut of Jorge, it's not possible to change the foreign players. But for me in this season, the most important is to find the balance. Of course, it's difficult because sometimes we have problems with, in this case, red cards or with injuries, you know. But sometimes it's necessary to think about your plan, to prepare the plan, and then decide the best foreign players. You know, it's not so easy. Of course, it's not so easy. But for me, the most important is firstly the performance of the foreign players, and then prepare the plan about who is possible to help in this plan.
Yeah, I have a question for Ivan. Ivan, you know, after the losses in the first 3 games, how was the mood within the dressing room, and how did the players keep motivating themselves, saying that, you know, everybody expected so much from FC Goa? So how did the players, you know, rise up to the challenge in the 4th match?
Yeah, as we all know, it's not a good start of the season, but you know, as a professional, we just have to, you know, we just have to cope with it. Everyone is hurt, to be honest. Everyone is hurt in the club. This club is about winning, you know. So everyone is hurt. I know, from the staff, from the players, from the management, the fans. Everyone is hurt. But I think we as a player, we as a group of players here, staff, including, you know, we have to stick together, I think, through this tough period. But now I think we have come out as a team and we have improved. So there's always thing to improve, and I think we are looking forward to it, and we'll improve as a game come by. So we'll improve every game. That's it.
Thank you, and all the best. All the best, coach.
Srivats, you have a question?
Coach, any player injury update? If anyone will miss the match tomorrow?
Continue with Brandon. Brandon continue in process of the recovery. And then, of course, we have some players with some problems, but we'll see, because today is the last training, and we'll see with the medical staff. They are working now, and at the end of the training this night, maybe tomorrow morning, we can decide the squad. But 100% Brandon is out.
Thank you. All the best for the match, coach.
First question, it's from Mr. Shivakrishna from Telangana Today and Mr. Srinivas from Sakshi. The result in the last match propelled the team to a higher position in the league table. How crucial was that win, and what are the biggest learnings from that game?
Okay, good afternoon. I think all the results, all the scores are crucial. If you win, if you draw, or if you lose. And more in one competition with only 20 games. of course, was crucial because you prefer to win than to lose, no? But it's a short competition, but we are still in the beginning, no? In only a quarter of the competition is done. Then we have to continue. The biggest learning from that game is that we have to play with more continuity during 90 minutes. It's normal in football that when the other team score or when the other team arrive with clear chances, there are some moments that are difficult for the team, but we have to control these moments and try to play our style again.
Coach, the second question is from Mr. Joe Williams from the Free Press Journal and Mr. Shiva Krishna from Telangana Today. So speaking about momentum in a league like this, how tough is it to maintain it and how important is it to make most of the good form, given that the league will get tough with every passing game?
Yes, and the problem when I speak about we are in the beginning, it's not about only topics, no? It's I have to tell this or I have to tell, because okay, if we are now we are third, but if we are 7, 8, or 9, we would say the same thing, no? It's 20 games, but we play every 4 or 5 days. Then, if you look again, a lot of injuries in many players of all the teams, then it's impossible to know what will happen at the end of the competition. Some moments depends on if you have a lot of injuries or not. Then this is another very important point, and this is another thing that every game is very tough, no? Because it's not easy. Sometimes you have to play with the minutes of the players, and in one moment maybe you lose points because in some teams, it's not all the teams. Not I don't speak about Hyderabad. You change some important players because it's impossible to play 90 all the games. Then okay, you can lose points, or by the moment it's not our case, but maybe can happen, no? It's a tough competition, short and tough, because we played, unfortunately for COVID, in a small space, no? Practically only 3-4 months.
The next question is from Mr. Hari Govind from Khel now and Ms. Aswati Santosh from Halfway Football. FC Goa, after losing 3 games, are now on a 2-match winning streak. How much of a challenge do you think they will pose for Hyderabad FC?
No, it's another game, another tough game. The not normal thing is that Goa lost 3 consecutive games, because they were, I don't know how many games, unbeaten at the end of the last season. And now they changed the system in the last 2 games, and they are playing good football with try to keep the ball, because this is the style of FC Goa, and will be a tough game, but that every week I tell you, I tell all of you, know, that will be tough for Hyderabad, but will be tough for Goa, for sure, both.
The next question is from Miss Neha, Zilli Sports, Mr. Hari Govind from Khel now, Shekhar from Namaste Telangana. FC Goa under coach Juan Ferrando are known to follow a possession-based football. What would be the best approach against a team like that?
They play very good football. They play, for example, when I see games of Mumbai or games of FC Goa, are interesting, no? Because it's the style, for example, that I like, no? And I think they keep the ball, they try to play. Better if you put 10 players behind the ball, and okay, all is correct, but I prefer the style of play of these kind of teams. Then I think that is more or less the similar to Mumbai game, no? In the moments, okay, Mumbai and Goa now, I think that Mumbai is one step better than the other teams. But when Mumbai or Goa, in this case, has the ball, you have to defend. We have with a lot of order, try to play, and when we recover the ball, try to avoid the press of the opponent, Goa or another team, tomorrow Goa, and try to arrive with, this is football, no? Attack, defense, transition, set pieces. The team who is better in every game, finally, or usually, they win the game.
Coach, the next question is from Mr. Azhar from Sportskeda. Since you've been there with Hyderabad FC from last season, how much of an improvement do you see in Hyderabad FC as a team?
I think that I am not the correct person to reply this question, but I think that many people speak about our style, and I think that we have two teams very, very different. I think that last season was more a team with that keep the ball, try to play in every situation. I think now, depend of the opponent, too. For example, against Chennai, we found 10 players behind the ball. Against Mumbai, we try to keep the ball, but if you can't, because they are a very strong team, you have to defend, and we defend with order. I think every team, for example, Jamshedpur, they are very, very strong physically, and in the first half, they played better than us, but in the second half we improve a lot, and we at least we got to equalize the game. I think that the best thing this year is that the team is ready to adapt. If in some moments of the game the other team is better than you, or you are uncomfortable in the pitch, no?
The next question is from Mr. Joe Williams from the Free Press Journal. What is your opinion on Aniket Jadhav's performances so far in the season?
I don't like to speak about one player, but it's correct, it's better, because he has to understand some things, because he arrived from one team who played a total different style than us. Then he has to know which is the correct movement in every situation. Of course, after he has very good qualities, and he can use, or he can decide which action he will do, but in terms of positioning, he has to improve some things. But I am happy with Aniket and with the other players that they are in the. This is their first season in the team.
Coach, the next question is from Ms. Aswati Santosh from Halfway Football. So 3 matches in 10 days. How, like you mentioned this before, that the league is very short. So how is it affecting the fitness of the players, and how is the team coping with the demanding fixtures?
Well, I think that this problem is for all the teams, not only for us, of course. Then 3 matches in 10 days is too much. It's too much. Of course, affect the fitness of player, but I think that more or less, all the teams, for example, Bengaluru, they play, I think, in 4 days. 4 games in 13 days. Too much, no? of course, is affecting the fitness. You have only to look the list of injured players in the competition. And then the other day, for example, I think that we have good bench and we have enough players to play in some moments of the game, and the team more or less is the same. No, the substitutions sometimes, like the other day against North, the substitutions. Tabora recovered the goal in the third goal. Joel 2 assists. Aren 1 assist. Javi scored 1 goal. I think that the 5 players who entered, they played in a very good way.
Coach, those are the questions that were sent in. We've got a few more questions that have come in. So I'll just take those. So this one is from Mr. Dhiman Sarkar from the Hindustan Times. So data shows that throw-ins are being used as an attacking weapon more in this season. Why do you think that is happening?
No, I think it's the same. It's the same every year. I told the other day to my players that there are 2 things that I am very surprised in the Indian league. One is the quantity because the throwing of Raju is not normal. The throwing of Mashur is not normal. The other day, Tondomba, I didn't know, but there are more players for sure in the league. This is one thing. The long throw-in is very dangerous, very dangerous. No. Because usually the throw-in is because, or the reason for throw-in is some player has the option to flick the ball, but in this case, no. In this case, it's they can head the ball directly and score, like the other day Raju with Marcella in East Bengal, or this kind of thing. And the other thing that I am very surprised is that there are a lot of players that they touch the ball. I don't know if Akash, Nauren Rosham, or another players that now I don't remember, if they are lefty or right footer. They touch the ball exactly the same with both feet. With both feet. Then this is a detail, no? Yes, throw-in. The other day we conceded the goal in a throw-in after 3-4 actions that we didn't get to clearance the ball.
Coach, just a follow-up question to the same thing. Attacking is the question from Mr. Dhiman as well. Attacking or defending a set piece requires a lot of practice. So does Hyderabad FC regularly spend time on training to use long throw-ins as an attacking weapon, and also to defend against teams who do use those?
You have to work everything. Right? All defense, attack, transition, set pieces. Sometimes you are better, sometimes no. The other day we scored the first game in a prepared set piece, no, with the goal of Sana, the free kick of Edu Garcia. But and even another actions like the header of Juanan that was prepared in a corner. And sometimes it's the opposite. No? You have to try to avoid. But for example, if you watch the game yesterday, ATK and Mohun Bagan and Bengaluru, they are very strong teams in physically in terms of physical players, and it's very difficult to control Prince or to control Suasis Bose or to control these kind of players, no, Bruno Ramirez, Alan Costa, or these kind of players. Then is a thing that you have to work in every training session, because you don't have too much time to train between the games. But of course that we work. I think all the teams work the set pieces.
This is the last question we'll take. It's from Mr. Shekhar from the Sports Grail. So how are the youngsters in the team responding to the current run of results?
Good, no? I think that Okay, when the team is winning, all is fantastic. No, of course that we have to improve a lot of details, but I think that is important. It's our philosophy, no? Is to play with young players. I told last week, no, our team is a mix between experienced foreigners and young Indian players, except Katimane. I think all the players who are playing in this moment are very young, no? Maybe Nikhil Pujari is 27, but the other guys is 24 or less. Then, of course, it's a great experience for them, but I repeat, it's not about arrive, it's about keep. And then they have to continue working, because every game will be very difficult, for sure.
Coach, those were all the questions for today. Thanks everyone for attending. We hope to see you next time as well. Thank you, Coach. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.